Excuse me. A notification. Derek
So I
says
don't
live.
know if we're live, so I'm just going to sing for you all. I hope you like my songs. I do, silly. Oh, hey, here I am.
There you are.
A notification. Derek so I don't know if... Okay, anyways, I'll stop that. So today, welcome to episode 8 of the Everyday Dog Show. Once again, I can't seem to find out how to host this in my own closed group. It's not allowing me to do so. So here we go on my regular page. I will also post it there. And if you're not already a member of the Everyday Dog Training Secrets and you have a dog and you want to know some secrets, go ahead and find out that page and join. We got tons of training under the guides tab. But in any event, today I have the one, the only Melanie Ellis here, lead trainer and operations manager for No Dog Left Behind, which is our business.
Woohoo!
Yes, that's good. Hey,
A little bit. There we go. We got matching shirts.
Taking over the world one shirt at a time.
Great.
But anyways, today we're going to discuss a handful of things. One being, things to be aware of when selecting a doggy daycare, especially primarily we're going to discuss when it comes in regards to puppies. And another thing we're going to talk about is collar grabbing and why it is the #1 precursor to people getting bitten by dogs. So in any event, we're going to start with this. So I want to, I know, but people don't know, you've kind of got back into the thick of things within the business after being off from some maternity leave. And what are you doing right now with your life?
Well, actually, about an hour ago, I just got back from the puppy daycare. We run our puppy daycare 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm slowly getting my feet wet as my family adjusts to me going back to work. And so far, it's going really well, which is I'm very, very thankful for. I have a wonderful baby boy who's doing really great, and dad's doing really good, and they're forming a nice little bond together, and it's working out really nicely. So while I was at daycare this morning, got to hang out with our 12 dogs that we have there today, and it was so much fun. We do so much together from 8 a.m. when that first dog comes through the door, and then they're still hanging out there, obviously, with the other girls. But it was nice to spend some quality time with them one-on-one this morning with just me and the puppies, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the first thing to just help people, whether they're near or far or anywhere, is what are some things you would want people to be mindful of or consider when they're looking for, a daycare for their dog, specifically puppy, especially in these days with like COVID life, it can be difficult to set up puppy dates.
Absolutely.
Because some people just might not want to, where a daycare option is often a really good alternative because the puppy can get a lot of exposure.
Yeah, it can be the best place for your puppy. It can also be the worst. Think of it a lot like going to kindergarten for the first time. You are either a social flower and you love everybody and everything is great, or you've been at home with mommy and daddy for the first 5 years of your life, and now you're surrounded by other children. You're expected to do things, follow rules, all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that I hope to convey to puppy owners is to be picky. Be picky. Ask a lot of questions. If the daycare staff doesn't want to answer your questions, that's usually my first red flag. With puppies, you want to be super mindful. You have such a small window for socialization and bite inhibition and all of these things that are happening with your puppy that if you're not careful, you may have bigger issues down the line. With our puppy daycare, we are very mindful of play groups. So we're constantly moving the puppies around. They're never really with the same dog for more than, I would say, an hour or two, unless they're like perfect together. We want to make sure we get everyone sort of around other types of puppies. With our dogs today, for example, there's 12 of them. They range from, I think our youngest one is 5 months and our oldest is about 10 months. She's a small girl who's just a little bit older, but she's working on her confidence and stuff. So that's something that we worked with her. But anyway, so it's important for the 4-month-old may not get along super great with the 11-month-old. So we actually have 3 different play areas for the puppies, as well as an emergency 4th area for a cool down or a break. And we also utilize crates for some naps and that type of stuff. So one of the things that we're really mindful of with puppies is we want their experience to be as positive as we can. So we strive for like 98% positivity when they're playing and socializing. We want them to learn, obviously, the good play skills and that type of stuff, but we want it to be in a safe manner. A lot of myself growing up was like, oh, if a dog, like, oh, they'll figure it out, just throw them together, like just find a big dog to beat the poop out of it and it'll be fine. They'll just realize that it shouldn't do that. Now that knowing what we know, that's actually very detrimental to the puppy. It shouldn't get its butt handed to him every time it does something bad. It needs to learn how to play. It needs to learn how to engage with other puppies. My favorite part of puppy daycare is watching a puppy try new things. So what I mean by that is some dogs are chasers, right? Some dogs love to be chased. Some dogs love to chew on each other. Some dogs are tacklers. They'll come out of nowhere and they'll just poof through the other puppies. Right. Now, one of the things with daycare is because there's 12 dogs and there's 1 or 2 or 3 staff members, we're not always there. So if your dog has never been tackled before or chewed on, it could be very scary for them, especially those first couple of instances. So we want to make sure we keep those safe and positive. We actually go a step further and we have an ambassador dog. So this is a dog that is like a dog's dog. He's 2.5 years old. He was raised around like 15 other dogs. Right. And he's very, very good at alerting us if something's about to happen. So if a puppy's getting beat up and we're over here not paying attention, he'll usually start barking. He'll start kind of poking at the other dog. Be like, okay, he's had enough, back up. And then we'll step in and we'll be like, good boy. And then we'll intervene. Everyone cools down. And then they come back to play. This is another big one with play dates. Sometimes we don't know when to separate and then let's go back to play. A lot of times we're like, oh, that was really weird. Let's just end it there. And then off we go. And the puppies don't know, oh, okay, that was a bad experience. Maybe that wasn't super great. Whereas with daycare, we can actually monitor it. We can stop them, separate them for a few minutes. Everyone has a nice cool down, maybe even take a nap if we need to, but then they get to go back and try again. And that's reintegrating them. Yes.
So it doesn't end on a low.
That's right. And then it really helps some of our dogs that are not super great at reading other dogs, or maybe they're a bit shy, or maybe they're a bit too rambunctious. It helps them learn to contain themselves. And there's nothing more rewarding than watching this big, gigantic golden retriever who likes to pounce, try and like engage in a chase. It was really cute. I actually posted a TikTok video today, so everybody should go watch it because it's hilarious. But there's this golden retriever that's just like tearing up the place. So he's going to go home nice and tired.
For sure. And just to kind of further up on some of the points that you made, like when, like, for example, our ambassador dog would alert that there's a little bit of an issue in another pen, it's not because anyone is not in the space or outside of the space. There's always eyes on the dogs. Yes. It's just that you have 3 pens in a 4,000 square foot space and you're looking over here and you're like, oh, there's something going on right there when Donovan alerts us, right? Yeah. We also tend to have 2 staff members minimum on at all times, except during closing, when people are picking up. So it's like an hour of the day. So there is a high number of attention to dogs. Eyeballs. Yes. So typically there's 4 eyeballs for the 2 pens, or sorry, 3 pens rather. And, mitigating either some training or cool downs or interrupting if things escalate. So a big thing, I guess, just to be mindful of is that it's not just a free for all. Like, that's the last thing we want. Absolutely. We're very picky as to who gets to play with who. And if we're going to do training time, which we do that multiple times throughout the day, which training time isn't necessarily anything super complicated. If you think about come when called, that's a huge training thing that most people struggle with. And it's such an easy thing for us to work on. So we usually have a handful of kibbles or treats in our pockets with our poop bags, not together, of course. But anyways, the 2 things we need in puppy daycare is poop bags and treats. But anyways, and then
And so we'll do random like come when called, which is inadvertently giving the dog a cool down break, which is perfect. But it's also rewarding them for coming. Some of these puppies have never heard their names before, other than maybe a couple of weeks with their owners. If they're from a shelter, it could be a brand new name to them. So having that positive experience with their names is also just like a sideline win, if you will. But training time is usually just like the basics: sit, stay, wait at the door is huge. So a lot of the times when people come to pick up their dogs from other daycares, they're like, when they come to class, they'll say, oh, when I go to pick her up, she's just so excited to come home. And it's like, well, what does that mean when she's so excited and you're struggling with jumping up?
I want to just intervene. Sometimes it's more like you bring the dog into the place and then the dog jumps all over, and then the people are like, hi puppy, we love you too. And then we're like,
so
like with us, we really want to try to not reinforce any undesirable behavior that the handler owner doesn't want, right?
That's right.
So if a puppy jumps on me, I'm like, off.
That's it. And we do that.
I'll pet them.
With the owners, when they dropped them off this morning, for example, everybody did it. Everyone was a rock star. They were all ready. They had their little handful of treats if they needed it. And I even helped halfway across the street with one dog just to really go, no, you got this. Don't let him pull you. It's okay. He can wait. I've got time. We can do this together. And that's something that we work on. We don't let the dogs jump on us. We don't do any, we don't let the dogs mouth us. And then we do a lot of touchy-feely, like petting and that type of stuff. And then we play a lot with their necks, because if I need to separate two dogs really quickly, the easiest way to do that is to grab their collars and pull, right? And puppies generally are more like, I'm so excited. So they just don't really care. But some dogs have never had their collars grabbed before. They're like, what are you doing?
Well, let's save this for a slightly later.
Okay.
But I like where you're going with it. But yes, collar grabbing is a real thing and a real issue for a lot of dogs. But to kind of come back with the looking for a daycare is really just look for somewhere that's in alignment with what you want, whatever that is, right? Like if you really just want a place for your dog to kind of get some steam off, I mean, that's fair. But I would also suggest that it's not just a free for all. So like we try to strategically, we strategically like build up confidence and are aware of body language and set them up to succeed, but also for them to learn barriers and how to like de-escalate situations and calm down in a safe manner for everyone. But also like, it's not just like we throw them in a pen for the day and that's where they stay. It's like, no, you might be in this one and that pen, and then you're going to do some training time. And now you're going to have a nap because you need one and you're going to be in this crate. Yeah. Or it's a lot more like, for example, we had a really fearful dog join a few weeks ago, and like incredibly fearful. And within like 2 weeks, the dog significantly built more confidence. Even in the first like 2 hours when we were doing some work with her, she was like hiding in a crate to, oh, now I'm going to walk around with you. I still don't want you to touch me yet, but I'll walk around with you, to then half an hour later, sitting behind someone getting petted by one of the staff that she wanted zero to do with for the first 2 hours of the day. So we can just do a lot of tailored training to the dog specific needs, but we'll also follow a basic process and help clients kind of achieve what their goals are. So like, I guess another thing to bring up in regards to that is like, I know the answer to this, but I want you to share it with anyone thinking, is like, well, how do we follow up on the, training that you guys implemented, or structures or rules at your training facility? Like, you do could be different than what I do.
Oh, absolutely. There's 1,001 ways to train a dog to sit, for example. But we actually have a closed Facebook group for the puppy daycare and training. We post a report card of how your dog's day went. Pardon me, not how my day went. And on there, we actually rate your dog from 0 to 10. So 1 being, I did not enjoy this. It was not super fun for me. To a 10 where I was super confident. I was rocking all day long. And then we also have guides for people to follow. So as you progress through our puppy daycare, which starts from week 1 to week 6, and some people will take it multiple times, but generally it's 1 to 6. And then that first week, we work on getting to know your dog. We work on positive association to the staff, to other dogs. We start to make some play groups. We learn a little bit about their dog, their behavior, their confidence levels, that type of stuff. Week 2, we start to bring in some real training, like sit, down, and stay. And then week 3, we'll introduce go to your mat, and then we'll make everything else harder. Come and call, we work on obviously all the time. And then we just keep making it harder for the dogs that are excelling. We are also very careful to work on whatever level your dog is at, because all dogs learn at different levels as well. So we don't want to expect everyone to be able to sit stay for 5 minutes when this one dog can, but this one only stays for 10 seconds. And that's okay if that's what that dog is at for training levels. But then the owners at home can follow along with what we're doing. And we try and take some video if we have time. Usually when people pick up or drop off, they'll ask us questions. They'll reach out as well on our Facebook group and say, hey, I'm struggling with this and this and this. And then we can offer them advice. Actually, other clients usually give really cool ideas too, which is kind of nice. Networking there, which is really awesome. We have a pretty cool group of puppy owners in our puppy daycare group. But and that way, if they want to set up play dates later, hey, you know, these 2 dogs played really, really well. Like if you guys want to meet at a park or something, and you can just let them go for a nice walk together, social distance and all that good stuff, then you can, you know, get some fresh air. And then these 2 dogs just love each other. So it's nice for us to potentially do some matchmaking as well.
Sure.
For appropriate play.
No, absolutely. And then what was I going to say with that? Now I lost it. With the guides, it's really just to help the clients bridge between what we're doing, because the guides are set up with exactly how we're doing hand signals, how we're getting them to fill in the blank, do the exercise. So they can continue with generalizing is the word, but help them get their dog to do the same thing for them. Now, 2 other things. One is, even though some of these behaviors are basic, a dog being able to do them around high levels of distractions is not basic. That's a refined behavior. So like, think of like a service dog in public that's like downstaying while carts go by. You're like, oh my God, my dog would never do that. It's a very basic behavior, but it's built on the same fundamentals. And that's where, like my dog already knows how to sit and down and stay and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but can it do it outside of your home?
Right.
And people are like, I don't know. And I'm like, probably not.
Probably not.
If you haven't practiced it, it's not, right? Because sometimes people are like, I don't know, like my dog's pretty social. Why come to a class? And I'm like, because your dog's probably not going to do very well when you first come, as far as their listening skills to you, because you're competing for their attention, which class really gives an optimal area for you to do that and gain your skill set as a handler and teach your dog to be reliable.
Yep.
There's something going on in the background of your sounds.
Is there?
What it is?
No,
maybe
it's just
like
my head.
Something to do with your headset, I think.
Oh.
Anyways, it's fine.
I'll try not to move my head so much.
Sometimes if you like touch the cord, I think maybe.
Oh, probably.
It makes this like.
This little iPhone cord. Yeah, I'll try not to move my head so much.
It's okay. It's not moving your head. It was like something else, but it's all good.
Okay.
In any event, and the other thing being, what was it? I should make notes.
I always keep going.
Oh, I lost it again. Anyway, whatever. It'll come to me and then I'll be like,
wait, enrichment items maybe? Yeah.
I won't bugger you, but typically what we do is have about 10 dogs in our daycare. Sometimes it fluctuates between, 10 to 12 if someone's making up a missed one. But 10's kind of the happy number with our ambassador dog in there. So for a frame of reference, it's not 20, it's not 30, it's not 15. It's like typically a much lower number. So we keep those same amount of our ability to watch the dogs. And if more people want to join the class, we defer them to a following one because we want to consistently create the same result and kind of service so everyone can expect kind of the same things. So anyways, as far as enrichment, like we've invested a lot into this daycare program as far as enrichment goes. other
Training.
things. What are 2 new things, pop quiz, that have either recently came or are going to come that to positively contribute to our puppy daycare and training program?
We have a really cool ramp that we built. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. It is, well, not we, but one of our staff, her and her awesome husband built this super cool ramp. And it's like a bridge. There's 2 ramps and there's a little bridge in the middle. And it's a fairly simple design, but if you think of all the training that we do up until that point, luring, come, all that confidence building with us, to get a puppy to walk the plank, literally, and then
Right.
walk across the rickety bridge and then come down safely, that's a huge confidence boost for that puppy. And it's a huge training. It's mentally exhausting for most
Right.
dogs when we do the enrichment items, because they're like, whoa, that used all of my brain power. So there's that one.
Well, I want to stop
And
you for a second because it
okay.
reminds me of the whatever they call that swinging bridge or whatever here in town.
Oh, yes, they're not floating bridge.
I can't remember now.
What's it called?
I don't
Suspension,
know.
suspension bridge.
Yes, suspension bridge. Because I've
Yes.
had like adult
Yes.
dogs walk by that and they're like, "Oh my God, this is scary." And it's just because they've never walked on anything that kind of swayed, right? And it's kind of got a
Mm-hmm.
similar ramp going up.
It
And
does. Yep.
basically, this is just like we're stretching out these puppies' brains any way that we can within our facility to prepare them for the future so they're not scared of these new random things that happen. And they're like, because that's the
What?
issue, is there can be a whole pile of fear responses over time if the dog's under
Mm-hmm.
socialized. And I'll
Absolutely.
put this disclaimer out here: exposure and like adequate socialization are not the same thing. I'm going to categorize exposure being like the dog sees the things but doesn't actually become confident around them, whereas like adequate socialization is the dog sees the things, might feel uncomfortable, but then they build their confidence around it by whatever means, further exposure, associating food or play,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, we never force dogs to do anything either. So that's an important point that I should make as well. So any dog that doesn't want to do it because it's too scared or whatever, we'll try a bunch of different things. We'll either food lure, we'll have one dog go ahead and sometimes the other dog will follow, like going through the tunnel. You guys have all seen the adorable tunnel video. So sometimes the dog doesn't want to go in there, which is fair. The dog should be able to say no. So we will try and entice him to go in by having a dog go first. And a lot of the times, dogs will learn by watching other dogs do things,
Right.
good and bad behaviors. So that's usually one of the ones that we use for the tunnel. Is they'll watch a dog like have a great time with it, and they'll go, "Oh, that looks kind of fun," and then they'll go in and
Right.
they'll tunnel through. Because for most dogs, it's not a natural thing to go like into a dark hole, not know where you're going to end up in the Twilight
For
Zone.
sure. But it's also like another form of enrichment, right? Which brings me to like another, because each week we'll have different opportunities for the dogs to have enrichment exercises with non-characteristic items, like the bridge, and
Mm-hmm.
like another one being the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is like we have a kiddie pool with bottles in it,
It's
empty
hilarious.
bottles, and then toys in them, and the dogs dive in there and pull stuff out and go in and lay
Love
in it
it.
and be silly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
tactile stimulation, and they get confident stuffing their face in around things that are a little bit weird and make
Mm-hmm.
sounds and move around really easily. But then they start to enjoy it once they've got that confidence, and then they just play. As well as,
Yep.
like for example, the graduation week, we
We do
do a little
agility.
puppy agility course.
Mm-hmm.
Like Melanie's created a whole bunch of amazing agility
Thank
items
you.
for
Thank you.
us, and we'll utilize them age specific so your dog isn't
Yes.
overexerting
Yes.
themselves,
No.
but for them to just build another way of building confidence. So anyways, I mean, these are just some things that we do. I don't want to take this whole call to talk about our puppy daycare, even though it is amazing. But anyways,
So
is
fun.
there anything else
So
you wanted
fun.
to mention about that before we wrap up about that and go to the next thing?
Not really. One of the biggest things that I love about this take, I've worked at a couple other daycares in the past. And I've talked to people who worked at daycares. When I became a dog trainer, that was sort of my training. I was at the animal shelter around all these troubled dogs, and I went into the daycare to sort of learn more what normal dogs were like and just the average house pet, if you will. What we do with the puppy daycare, it's been a dream of mine for years, because there isn't a safe place for puppies to explore, right? There's nothing more detrimental to the puppy than not being able to explore. Do I want to be confident? Do I want to be shy? Do I want to be chased? Do I want to be tackled? Do I want to be mouthed? One of the biggest complaints we get for puppies is, oh, it keeps biting me and it's biting really hard, or it takes treats super roughly. One of the things that I failed with my dog is I didn't allow him to play with enough puppies when he was developing his bite inhibition, which is the ability for dogs not to bite super hard and to withhold. They have a ton of teeth in their mouth, and they know how, well, most of them, how to bite gently. And how they learn that is by biting their playmates and their brothers and sisters when they're really little, and then other puppies as they grow. They learn how to control their mouths. And puppy daycare is just the perfect place for that. So we can almost guarantee that your dog will leave after the 6 weeks with a more gentle mouth, because that is where they learn it, is they chew on each other. And when they go, ouch, that hurts, it's just so clear to the dog. Oh, that was a bit too rough. But it's also, they forgive each other. They learn how to apologize, which is the cutest thing, because they'll nip and they'll go, oh, sorry. And they'll lick, 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 lick. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And then they'll go back to play. All is forgiven. Whereas if a dog was to bite at a different daycare that had a lot of big dogs, for example, which I don't know if this happens often, but if, let's say, your puppy bites a big dog, the big dog
or
might
the
turn
dog
around
park.
and just, or the dog park, yeah, be really careful there. The big dog might turn around and just like freak out, and then your puppy's going to go, oh my gosh. That is not a good way to learn bite inhibition. That's a good way to learn to be fearful of big dogs. Or if your dog only socializes with the dog like that, he will think that's how you play. You bite and then you get tackled. You bite and you get tackled. And we've had puppies come in that have only played with like maybe 1 or 2 dogs, and that's how they play. They bite and they get tackled, and they're like, okay, I'm going to tackle you. And then it's not appropriate. It's not an appropriate play style. So at least with puppy daycare, we can show them how to explore, how to try new things, how to,
but also to like to your point, is vary their play style.
Yes, that's
depending
the
on
proper
who they're
English words.
playing with, right? Because
yes,
like you said, if they're only exposed to like say 1 adult dog, even, or 2 or 3, but they have, you know, extreme different temperaments where one dog lets the puppy do whatever they want, and then you raise like an annoying adolescent dog because they're kind of a butthead, not on purpose, like just because they've like been accustomed to this really passive dog letting them chew on their face constantly and never stood up for them itself. Or on the other extreme, you have a 12-year-old, you know, senior dog that wants nothing to do with the puppy and tells them off, and the puppy's like, and stops trying to play. And they think that's just how you interact. When another dog comes to you and mouths you, tell them off, because this is what I learned from the other dog I lived with. So the variance of play style in a safe manner is really crucial.
Yes.
And what we strive to provide. But as well, with the adult dogs that we do integrate, they are more ambassador ones who are neutral, who can make a point and interrupt behavior.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
But without hurting the dog.
No,
might scare them a bit, but they're not going to sink their teeth in.
No, what Donovan does actually is he'll, and sometimes what's interesting with puppies, which any puppy owner I'm sure has been in this position, where you're not quite sure which dog is the one that's causing issues. Because it looks like one might be the one that's, and you're like, is it my dog? Is it your dog? I'm not sure. Like, who's the one that's actually causing the issue? And what's interesting is we are almost always wrong as humans. Like when we take a dog that we thought was getting picked on, or vice versa, is picking on another dog, there's a good chance we were not right. And Donovan, which is our ambassador dog, he's this awesome basset hound. He will actually go and tackle or like bark or sort of usher away the dog that is being a little more of a bully, if you will, or just being a little bit too much. And half the time we're like, oh, it's this dog. We thought it was like, it's so cool to watch dogs interact with each other. And then he can go in and go, hey, okay, that's enough. That you need to calm down. And then we come in, of course, and we help him, right? Because he is a basset hound, so he's not super big. But then they get to go back. Like that is something that is invaluable. Like you can't put a dollar sign to that, because they get to go back and try again. They get to learn from their mistakes. They get to grow as a dog to learn that, oh, okay, well, if this dog's giving off this energy, we're going to chase each other. If this dog's giving off this energy, we're going to chew and growl and just have this wonderful growl fest. And we're just going to chew all over each other. if this other dog, they'll cuddle together, and there's nothing cuter than puppies cuddling. Oh my god. Anyways, and but it's a really nice, safe place for them to explore and learn proper play styles. And we try really hard, like you said, to form play groups and make it safe, so they're not always playing with the same types of dogs, because that's all they know. So for a dog, it's like, okay, whatever, that's how we play. I just get tackled every 5 seconds. That's play. Right? It's not super enjoyable, so I'm not going to entice other dogs to play with me. But
it's really sorry.
Go ahead.
It's really like refereeing as well,
yes.
Right? We're just like kind of like a yard supervisor at a playground being like, okay, this is too far. You guys need to stop, and help them establish some boundaries where they don't have any, and things might just continually escalate, like 2 boys roughhousing in a field at school. And then all of a sudden someone gets hurt.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eyeball.
No, yes.
we never have that.
No. Anyways, okay, so let's move on to a training about why do you think collar grabbing is perceived by dogs negatively?
Most people don't take their collars on and off. Most people won't desensitize their dogs to touch, especially around their necks, because there isn't really a purpose to it. And then the only times most people will grab a dog's collar is for a negative association. So something like, my dog was peeing on the ground and I grabbed his collar and run him outside. My dog is being rude or rough and I grabbed his collar and I pulled him off. And it's usually very forceful when we've grabbed collars, or potentially I should say, or they just don't do it. Like if your dog walks on a harness, for example, or a haltee or whatever, you may not even touch their collar. And you might not even realize it, because you're like, oh, well, I just slip his harness on and I clip his leash and off we go. And I take the harness off. And in that whole period, I never once touched that dog's neck without even realizing it. So when we reach for dogs' collars, their reaction shouldn't be, why? Like the whole question mark. Excuse me, explain yourself. Why are you touching my neck? And so in puppy class, actually, in your program, you have where you touch your dog everywhere. Your dog should not have any aversion to you touching them everywhere, because it's a great way to catch lumps, bumps, and bruises ahead of time, potential arthritis, blah, 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 all that kind of good stuff, and tick season. Anyways, but with the collars, in daycare, we will do it all the time. We'll hold a dog back for a few seconds, let him cool down, then we'll release him. And we switch the collars as well in our puppy daycare, because we don't want dogs chewing on each other's tags, because most dogs will come in with a little tag on their collars. So we'll take that one off and put one of our own collars on, because that way, if they do chew on it, there's no metal piece potentially causing problems in their mouth. But also, if your dog is fearful and it's always getting bit by other dogs, not obviously roughly, but like rough housed by other dogs around their necks, they can get really nervous about it. So it's super important for owners and for us as dog owners to desensitize our dogs to being touched around their necks. I saw it a lot.
Time.
Oh, I know. Sorry, I always go keep
it's
going.
Okay. What I was gonna mention is, desensitizing really just means for us to gradually make them more confident around being handled around their collar, so that it's not a big deal. But also, to add to all the things that you mentioned, I like, it's definitely like people don't handle their dog's collar enough. But also the bigger thing is the dog tends to only get dragged by it when it's in trouble. So it's like, stop it, no. And I bring the dog, maybe the dog ran out the front door, and I go and catch them and I'm grabbing them, I'm dragging them home. Unfortunately, it's just the dog develops an association of being like, it's not fun to get collar grabbed. So as soon as I see that hand coming, run away from it.
Yeah.
So then what we'll do is, like, a quick little like simple thing can be just lowering our posture, and we actually go underhand and we grab the collar. And then I'm like, here's a snack for you. And then I let the collar go. Because another example is like, someone goes to the dog park with their dog and they're like, my dog comes like pretty good, throughout, but then soon he knows when it's time to leave. I'm like, how does he know that? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, presumably your body language has changed. And you're like, come on, let's go. And your hand sticks out. And they're like, oh, I know hand out means collar grabbing and we're leaving. No thanks. And they run away.
Thanks.
So each time, like for instance, if you have that issue at the dog park, I'm lowering my posture. I got a treat maybe in this hand or it's closed. And then I collar grab with my opposite hand and then I give the treat and then I let them go. But sometimes I hook them on the leash and then we leave.
Yeah. So they don't always know when the fun's over.
Right. But also like, I don't tend to do it overhead either.
No.
Because that's just sometimes can be perceived if your dog has been collar grabbed in the past, not even by you, but someone else, or they aren't accustomed to being touched around the neck. Then it's just by default an unsure association. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Why are you touching me?
But like people think, oh, it's good. I pet you up on your head. But if the dog's like, it's actually threatening because you're 3 times as tall as them or 2 times, and you're like, hi, dog, and they're like, so it depends on the dog.
Call me short.
Well,
2 times. I give you 3 times if it's a Chihuahua.
1.5 times the medium-sized dog.
Just kidding. It's actually really common too for people to pet their dog like this way. So one of the things that we used to talk to with volunteers is like, don't pat your dog in the face, like a dog you don't know, I should say, a shelter dog, for example, because that's not super fun to get this like pat in the eyeballs.
You don't want to get. That's what someone did here.
Oh, there you go.
Someone's patting me on the head.
Yeah, patting you. Stop it. I'm just kidding. But I think that's one of the things too. It's just adding just awareness, right? Because we don't not touch their collars because we're trying to cause problems. We just, why would I need to touch my dog's collar? Another thing too, that we check a puppy daycare, because the puppies obviously grow quite a bit from week 1 to week 6, is the tightness of the collar. So we take them off if they have tags, but sometimes they don't have tags, so we leave them on. But we actually make sure we can safely put our hands in their collars, and then we'll let the owners know if it's getting a little bit tight. And then we'll mention that, hey, it's not super comfortable, because one of the things that stresses the dog out is when there's tension around their necks. So we don't want that.
No, for sure. Well, I think that's a good place to end this call for this time. And appreciate everyone being out here to watch it. And I forgot earlier, so this may have any impact, but I was going to say #live or #replay if you watch this live or on a replay. So thanks for tuning in. And
I sell leashes and collars, FYI. Throw that in there at the end. If you're like, oh, my collar is too small, well, I sell really nice
What's
ones.
so special about your leashes?
Right? Mine are biothane leashes. Biothane is it's like a leather-like material that you can wash. I have labs, bless you, and they're disgusting. And they love to just find disgusting things like ditches and all kinds of gross stuff. So anyway, so I was always finding their, bless you, the collars would get really gross and grimy, and I was going through collars like crazy. So I actually make them out of biothane. This one, for example, is 3/4 inch. So it's like a medium size, and there's a spot for you to safely tie your dog to a leash. And then you have your nice clasps, and everything is wipeable. So I wipe it all with the baby wipe when I come home, and my collar, you can't tell that my dog's been wearing it. And I have black hardware now, slowly becoming a little entrepreneur business owner over here. So if you want to support me and grab yourself some awesome gear, trainhappy.ca, nice and simple, is my website. So if you have questions, just reach out. I can make custom. I made a really cool dog walking leash for a friend that had 6 leashes, and we had a really great time with it. So thought I'd throw that in there. If you're looking for a new collar, I have some nice colors.
That looks like a hunting one.
Right? Isn't
like
it
some
so
kind
great?
of hunting dog needs that on them.
Yes, the beautiful black. And I just started with plastic hardware, becoming a legit, right? So you have the nice
right.
plastic, which is also easy to wash, which is what I love. Everything is super durable and washable, and that way you can let the leash drag, and it's all good. I can replace rivets if needed, which is the stuff that keeps the stuff together. I have one of our clients actually bought a really cool hands-free leash, and I'm going to replace her clasps for her today because they're worn out. She's really using the leash for what it's for, which is awesome. But I replace clasps if needed. So anyways, thank you for letting me talk about my collars.
You're welcome. Trainhappy.ca. Don't forget to join our closed face group, The Everyday Dog. And if you feel like checking out No Dog Left Behind, we got you.